Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And about 4 months ago I uploaded a video detailing some of the biggest mod projects currently in the works for Skyrim, which in and of itself was a sort of sequel to another upload of mine a few months prior. But since that video, some of the mods I had discussed have actually released. Others have seen some significant progress updates, and there's even a few new major projects that have been announced to be in the works. All of which I think are deserving of some attention. So, that's gonna be our objective for today, as we dive right into some more of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim's biggest upcoming mods. Real quick before we go much further, this video won't be covering every mod we showed off last time, only the ones that have seen enough progress that I think warrants an update. The mods that have since released are obviously gonna be excluded, and there's a lot of new ones that I want to share. Anywho, without further ado, let's do further. Starting off, we have Dyngir by Haim Projects. So right off the bat, you can probably already detect something very unique about the gameplay you're seeing in the background. It features a side-scrolling perspective, similar to platformers like Super Mario, or more recently Little Nightmares, which is unlike anything we've seen out of an Elder Scrolls mod. It's being developed by the same team behind Carved Brink and Project AHO, two major DLC-sized mods we've covered before on this channel that were absolutely breathtaking. Frankly, if it weren't for Haim Projects' previous work that demonstrated what an effective group they were, I'd have trouble believing something like this would ever see the light of day. However, they've produced two truly massive expansions before, so I've got a bit of faith in them. Having entered development just a few months ago, we don't know a whole lot about this new creation's central narrative just yet, but evidently the mod will be set in a totally new universe, one unrelated to the Elder Scrolls franchise, specifically taking place on a world named Dyngir, hence the name. You'll play as a monk from a tribe of toads on a mission, though what exactly that mission is has yet to be revealed. And beyond that, well, that's all the devs have told us about the story. They've expressed a desire to eventually bring Dyngir to pretty much every platform, minus the PS4, so most players should get a chance with it, save for that one large constituency. Again, a mod with such a new perspective like this literally is something we've never seen before, and this gameplay alone is pretty remarkable, so I'm quite excited. Haim Projects has stated their hope is to have it ready for us sometime in 2020 or 2021. Next up is Odyssey of the Dragonborn by Ice Cream Assassin and Company. Odyssey of the Dragonborn is poised to be the sequel to the incredibly popular, already out, Legacy of the Dragonborn mod, released originally all the way back in 2014. LOTD was and remains a mod of truly gargantuan proportions. It revolves around a new museum opening up in Solitude, in the place of an old temple to Talos that the Thalmor ordered to be reconstructed following the White Gold Concordat. Out of this new building, you, and a small group that slowly grows over time, would forge a new guild, dedicated to the recovery of ancient artifacts across Skyrim, all to be displayed here, effectively creating a museum, one that offered a place to display just about every single unique quest item in the entire game, and even went so far as to incorporate innumerable modded-in items with compatibility patches and updates servicing some of Skyrim's most popular third-party mods. So not only could you show off all your Daedric weapons here, but also swords you obtained during a playthrough of Falskar and armors of the Forgotten City. Legacy was and is a collector's dream, and it also went above and beyond by including a far deeper narrative than just, hey Dovahkiin, go find us cool stuff. It came with its own wealth of quests, and an actual storyline based on an ancient prophecy that took players to new locations, primarily dungeons spread across Tamriel. It's easy to see why it was so popular. Alright, but now that I've hyped up this other mod so much, what exactly is the significance of its sequel? Well, while its predecessor has still been receiving constant quality support and updates, Odyssey of the Dragonborn is aspiring to take things to a whole nother level, and in a bit of another direction, that goes beyond display cases. While it will still place a huge emphasis on all that museum and collector content that made the original famous, Its real draw will be the new storyline we get to experience, and the lands we'll be sent to. Odyssey's central narrative is what the writers consider to be their interpretation of a continuation to Skyrim's main questline following the defeat of Alduin, and will primarily take place on the Isles of Balfira in the Iliac Bay off the coast of High Rock. Players who have dabbled into Daggerfall will likely remember this setting quite well. Balfira, also known as Adamantia, is home to the Adamantine Tower, a legendary, tower, that's said to be the oldest structure in the known world. And you can probably guess it's to have a part to play in the Dragonborn's visit to this foreign land. The region is under the control of the Dureni, a powerful clan of High Elves and Bretons that's recently reasserted their autonomy over these islands from the Empire following the Great War, and still struggling to find their political identity and maintain their independence from outside influence. While creating the Balfira world space was undeniably a massive task, believe it or not, the developers are mostly done with that part already, and in total, it's looking to be just a bit smaller than that of the island of Solstheim. Additionally, Odyssey's questline will see us go beyond Adamantia as well, for limited excursions into dungeons in Morrowind, Hammerfell, Blackmarsh, and many other exotic locations. Of course, as mentioned, Odyssey won't at all be neglecting the themes and gallery content of Legacy. In these new lands we explore, there will be no shortage of new, powerful items to find, craft, and put up for display back in Solitude, as well as an entire new wing of the museum. Overall, this mod is looking huge, exciting, and highly ambitious. Similar to Dyngir, if the mod authors hadn't proved themselves with Legacy and been so communicative, I'd have trouble believing something like this is even possible. But thankfully, since it entered development 3 years ago back in 2016, it looks like she's coming along nicely. Odyssey of the Dragonborn will be available on both Skyrim PC versions sometime in the future-ish. Coming at number 3, there's been some updates on Olenveld, one of the larger projects we covered in our previous upcoming mods video. Olenveld by Forcefield is a DLC-sized creation, sending players to Olenveld, an island off the northern coast of Skyrim. Now, mind you, while the name might sound a little bit new, Olenveld is actually a real place in the Elder Scrolls universe established by Bethesda, and has been, albeit briefly mentioned in a few games. Most notably, in Skyrim and Oblivion, there's a book featured titled The Exodus, which takes place on Olenveld. So we do have a good amount of information on this place, just not a whole lot, and we're not even sure what it looks like, as it's not portrayed on any official game maps. This gives the author a great amount of freedom to both get creative and stay true to the game's lore. According to legend, Olenveld was an island that Tiber Septim used as a mass grave, a place to dump the bodies of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of people that died during his numerous conquests in the Second Era. Since then, it fell into abandonment, and became a hub for some of Nirn's most twisted necromancers. If you want to learn more about this location, link in the description to that previous upcoming mods video, where I provide a little more context on what Olenveld is. Since our last deep dive into it, Forcefield has uploaded a handful of videos on his personal channel, giving us some brief glimpses into gameplay, as well as a new trailer that presented a few of the new areas we can expect to visit. Olenveld is a cold, snow-blanketed land, but the author's trying to maintain some diversity by placing a big focus on caves and the underground catacombs. Something that stuck out to me was in one of the new screenshots, we got our first glance at the Ice Spawn, a new creature similar to Solstheim's Ash Spawn, a zombie made out of, well, ice rather than ash. Circling back to the caves and underground content emphasis I just mentioned, one of the biggest new regions added by Olenveld will be a place called the Underworld, a Blackreach-like area illuminated by natural gems, fungus, and ancient magic left behind by necromancers. It's an area shrouded in mystery, so much that we still don't know a whole lot about it as community members, and hopefully we'll find out more soon. As a whole, Olenveld is one of the mods that I think I'm most excited to see. It's especially impressive that a majority of the work for this creation is being done just by that one guy, Forcefield. So while it's still got a good amount of time in development, more than likely well over a year, I'm very eager to see how his vision all pans out. Our fourth upcoming mod is rather unique, as it's not so much a standalone project like all the others featured in this video, but instead a massive update to an already available mod that's been in the works for a while now. Inigo V.3 by Smart Blue Cat. Inigo is a follower mod that dropped all the way back in August of 2013. Since then, it's accumulated nearly 1.5 million downloads, and developed a reputation as one of, if not perhaps the, most expansive companion mod ever created. It allows the Dragonborn to team up with Inigo, a Khajiit cutthroat who found his way into a Riften jail cell, willing to enter your service in exchange for some help out. Inigo made a splash onto the scene thanks to his astonishing level of depth. At release, he contained over 7,000 lines of unique dialogue, many only accessible if the player meets certain conditions, or developed their relationship with the character in a certain way. For some perspective, the entire vanilla Skyrim game contained just 60,000 lines of dialogue at release. So this mod alone increased that number by over 10%. In 2016, Inigo got a huge update, Inigo V.3, that greatly expanded upon the curious Khajiit's backstory, with a wealth of new dialogue, follower mechanics, and custom quests that took us to new settings alongside our furry friend. So with that update, Inigo became a whole lot more than just a follower mod, but a quest and dungeon mod too. And now, Smart Blue Cat is currently hard at work preparing Inigo V.3, and it's looking to be very big. It'll feature an assortment of new quests, new, even larger locations, and numerous fully voice-acted characters. The new lands in particular, I think are something even non-Inigo fans will take an interest in, as Inigo V.3 is poised to add in quite a large world space to explore. There's an entire new region that the mod author has described in some blog posts that's about as large as the Forgotten Vale, filled with new interior locations and dungeons as well. So getting to visit these new environments should prove entertaining, even if you've yet to become enthralled by the storyline. While Smart Blue Cat isn't one to upload many trailers, listening to some of the interviews he's done and reading some of those aforementioned blog posts, one of the things he's not really backing down from is Inigo's current amount of dialogue, and turning it up another few notches. He's writing and voicing thousands of new lines, some only to be played in such specific conditions that he believes quite a few of them will never be heard by anyone, despite being in the game. Inigo currently remains what is in my opinion the best and most complex follower mod available, and its upcoming V3 update is set to make it even bigger. And finally, as we approach the end, I'd like to talk a bit about Skywind. So this was a mod like Olenveld that was featured in my last upcoming mods video a few months back, and we've gotten a few updates I'd like to share. But real quick, for those of you unfamiliar with the project, Skywind is essentially a mod working to remaster the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind in Skyrim. The team is rebuilding the game, pretty much remaking TES 3 from the ground up in the creation kit, re-scripting the quests, recreating thousands of new models, textures, meshes, items, and creatures. It aims to be everything you would hope for out of a Morrowind remaster that Bethesda themselves doesn't seem very enthusiastic on doing. I've been following this endeavor for literal years now, and it's been incredibly thrilling to see all the progress it's been making. I think being able to experience the amazing stories and quests of Morrowind with the far nicer visuals and performance of Skyrim, plus whatever ENBs I need, will make for a pretty tremendous adventure. Anyway, since our last look into Skywind, some real movement has happened. The developers finally finished converting all of their work from Skyrim Legendary Edition to Skyrim Special Edition on their end. From a development standpoint, this is a big deal. It means they'll be able to push the game's engine quite a bit further in terms of workload. But what this means for players is that the mod will likely exclusively be releasing on Skyrim Special Edition, not original vanilla Skyrim. The devs have stated that after it releases on SSE, a backport and release on Old Rim may be possible, but is not currently planned. Furthermore, a new trailer has since dropped that not only gave another glance at some of the beautiful new environments, but notably included a brief monologue by Azura that was played by her same voice actor who portrayed her in Skyrim, Lanny Minella. So the team has even managed to get some of Skyrim's original vocal talent on board, which is really neat. I'll link that full trailer down below. I think you'll really enjoy taking a look at it. Skywind began development back in 2013, and it's been quite incredible to see it coming together in such an amazing fashion. I should also mention, in case you're unaware, Skywind has a sister project, known as Skyblivion, which, as the name kind of implies, is largely doing the same thing Skywind is to Morrowind, with Oblivion instead, remastering the Elder Scrolls 4 in the Elder Scrolls 5's engine. If you're a regular on the channel, or have seen any of these videos before, you're likely very familiar. They've been a bit less liberal in recent trailer releases, but have posted a wealth of new screenshots since we last took a look at what they were doing. And Skywind's project lead, Kyle Rebel, even did an interview with GameSpot back in June that explored some of the mod's history, and showed off an insane amount of previously unseen gameplay. So I definitely recommend you go check it out. But that's going to about do it for us today. Another look at some of the biggest mods currently in the works for Skyrim. Remember, this is far from a definitive list of all of the large projects in development. There's some really brilliant stuff that this video didn't tackle, that hopefully we will get around to soon. Notably absent was Beyond Skyrim, a gargantuan upcoming mod that's seen some pretty neat updates since our last look at it. But I'm saving those for a dedicated video that I think I want to do. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. If not, I'll be sure to mention them in the next one. In the description down below will be some links to all of these mod teams' social medias and/or discords, where you can learn more about what they have in store, and if you've got some skills they could use, maybe even join them. Anyway, thanks for watching everybody. As always, like ratings are very much appreciated, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Peace out everybody.